Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to another Mondays with Mohip. If you're not tuned in, hopefully you're going to watch it at some point because I have a lot of great information that I want to share. And so, sometimes I wonder, I'm not sure if any of this is relevant to you, but I'm hoping that just tuning in, even if it's not relevant for you at this moment, just having a better understanding of the work that we're doing in the district. I'm coming to you every week, so clearly it's not going to be jam-packed every single week, but over the course of the year, I hope you understand we're trying to share as much information with you as we possibly can. So as I always start, just a reminder, it's Monday, which means that today the bag reports went out, behavior, attendance, and grades. And so please make sure you're taking a look at that because we want to make sure that you have a solid understanding of how your child is doing in school. And I encourage you to, if you see there's a problem, if your child's not showing up to class, if there's getting a score that you're not necessarily agreeing with, reach out to the teacher and try and get some information. I was doing that today for my own son because I was concerned about some of his grades, and I got a progress report. I looked, and I was able to reach out to a few of his teachers and just get an understanding of what's happening because sometimes I need to understand what the teacher is doing. I also need to understand what my child is doing, and so I need to be able to communicate with both parties to have a better understanding of the facts, right? So I can have a better understanding of what I need to do at home to help my own child. So I'm thankful that we are able to do this once a week for you in the district because a lot of schools don't do this as often as we do. So please take advantage of those bag reports and really look to see how your child is doing, where areas that they're having challenges, and then please feel free to reach out. And if you're not getting a response, again, Let's Talk is where it's at. You go into Let's Talk and you put that question in there or that comment or whatever it is, and we'll get back to you within a day. We've been really good at holding to that 1 day limit. And so if you have a question, go in there. We may not be able to answer it right away, but we will be able to, at the very least, respond to you so you know that we heard that there's an issue and we'll let you know what we're doing to try and resolve. So remember, Let's Talk if you're not getting that answer. And I'm hoping soon that just becomes your first line of defense. Just go in there so I can see all the issues, so I can tag my teammates and make sure they're getting back to you as quickly as possible. Attendance continues to be strong. We're hovering at the 90s for East and West, and we're above the 95% at PMSA. As you can see outside, it's getting a little bit colder, so make sure your kids are dressing warm. And I know sometimes it's just hard, man. It's hard to get out of bed on these cold days. It's only going to get colder. And so it's, as parents, I'm just asking you to do your part to try and get your child to school, and we'll do the rest from there. But it's really hard for us to grow your child and make sure they're learning everything they need if they're not coming to class. I will say that we're seeing great strides in our students. Those students that are in school are going to class. We had that challenge last year where in certain schools, students were coming to school but not going to class. We don't necessarily seem to have that problem. All three principals have done a really good job of stepping up and making sure kids are in class when they're supposed to be. I'm excited. Actually, I'm a little tired. I've been training for the past 6 hours a group of teachers. We call them the Superintendent Fellows. I just want to tell you a little bit about these group of teachers. It's about 20 teachers that have volunteered to take our instructional framework and go above or an accelerated pace from what we're doing with the rest of the district. And the reason we're doing this, just as we're doing with our department chairs, is giving an opportunity to have some demonstration classrooms built in our schools. So by the time next year comes around, when we're asking all teachers to fully implement the proviso instructional framework, we're going to have teachers, department chairs in each school that can do this type of work, where teachers, if they're questioning, what does this look like? How does this work for our students? You can go, they'll have the ability to go observe these teachers. So thank you to those fellows that were with me today. We trained from 9:30 to a little past 3:30, and it was a really fun day, and we got some great learning from that. I have a few updates for you. Right now, your students, if they haven't already, they are going through the course selections. So please talk to them. We have the course catalog. We have it in English and in Spanish for the first time. I'm really excited about that. So you're able to go in and, see what you're asking them. What did you sign up for? Make sure it's the classes that they want. Make sure it's the classes that you think that they should be in. And we're doing this at such an earlier time to give us an opportunity to make sure we get this right for your child. So know that's happening. When we come back from Thanksgiving break, we're actually going to be going to the middle schools. We're going to be working with those teams. We're going to be talking to the counselors. We're going to be talking to students. Parents are welcome. And we just want them, we want those future ninth graders to get those classes locked in, right? It needs to start hitting them that they will be with us this time next year. They will be finishing their first semester of high school. And so this planning for that starts now. And so I'm really excited the fact that we're going to be there. We have the information for them. We have a really great presentation with some amazing videos that's going to show well, not all, but a lot of the great opportunities that they have: autos, manufacturing, culinary, ROTC, music, band. There's just so much exciting things for kids, and we want them to be exposed to that and know that this is an option for them. So that will be starting at the end of when we get back from the Thanksgiving holiday. A couple of things I just wanted to let you know. I just signed up and got myself a coach. I asked my principals. We signed up and got our principals coaches. We got all of our assistant principals are signing up and they're getting coaches because we think improvement is important. We think growth is important. And, everyone needs a coach, right? As good as we think we may be, we all know we have areas of deficit. We all know that we have areas that we can improve. And so sometimes we just need that outside person to come in and coach us and support us. So, I set the example. I have a coach coming in to support me. All of our principals are signed up for coaching and so are our assistant principals. And so, you think about it, Michael Jordan had a coach, professional golfers have a coach, everyone needs a coach. And so I'm excited that we have the opportunity to provide this type of service and an opportunity for professional growth for some of our leaders here in this district. So if you see people sometimes maybe walking through the building with me or with our principals, know that we're helping. We're trying to help all our leaders, including myself, get some of this additional support because we only want what's best for your children. And sometimes to do that, we need to improve ourselves as well. Some other things I want to talk about. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this or if we've ever had a conversation, but every week we do something called weekly on-sites at one of the schools. So each week, every Friday, we bring the entire central office to one of the buildings. So, one Friday it'll be east, the next it's west, and then PMSA. We do this for a couple of reasons. And honestly, the main reason is support. Sometimes our staff is having a challenge that they just can't solve. They've talked to their assistant principal or their principal. Maybe they've tried to work with us at central office. But at the end of the day, we want our staff to know that if they have a problem, we're here to support. And we also understand that sometimes it's difficult to do it through email. They can't always come to central office. So once a week, we end up at one of the schools. So in any 3 weeks, there's an opportunity for any staff member that has a challenge to come and talk to us. And so, it's not, we have weeks where we have a ton of people. Last week, we didn't have any people, right? So I hope that, we don't get visitors because we're doing the right things in central office. But I also know that's probably not the reality. And so I just saying this to just let the community know that our ears are open. It's not just for you and the community, but as a central office team, we want to make sure that we're supporting our staff because those staff support our students. A few other things that I think are, I'm really excited about that we've been able to accomplish this year, and I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow, actually, at the state of the district. We have switched our evaluations to being almost all of them now. Though everyone had the opportunity to have an online evaluation tool. In the past, if you can imagine this, we were evaluating every single teacher on paper. And so, some of these files are 20 or 30 pages of paper when you get all the documentations that come in times 300, just an enormous amount of paperwork. And so we've been able to make the switch this year to go to an online system. And the vast majority of teachers have taken us up on the opportunity to do this in a digital way. I think we maybe have a handful of teachers, maybe 10, that are still doing the old paper format. But what I like about this, it gives us the opportunity to monitor, one, to make sure our administrators are providing the support or providing the evaluations, but also we can then look at that evaluation data in a much more meaningful way to start using the information now instead of waiting until the end of the evaluation cycle in February or March. Right? If our teachers are having difficulties, if there's a need for support, if there's a challenge, let's do that now so we can support our students this year, not next year. Something else we do is we call them teacher quality or teacher support meetings. And we want to make sure that, and we're doing this right now, we're sitting down with with our school leadership teams, and we're talking about the support that's being provided to every single teacher. And so understanding of where their strengths and weaknesses are, but also what support we can provide to each teacher in our district so they can improve. Like, remember, I started talking about leadership improvement for myself, right? So it's important for all of us, not just our leaders, but for our teachers as well. And so what we're doing here is, and we're doing this 4 times a year, right? 4 times a year, we're talking about every single teacher to make sure that the administrators are providing the support that they need so that they can approve, right? So evaluations shouldn't be punitive. They should be a way to help support our teachers. And sometimes you don't necessarily need an evaluation to say, hey, I realize that this teacher needs some help in this area. Let's provide them that now. And so that's what the work that we're trying to do. It's an effort between our central office and our schools. And at the end of the day, it's making sure that we are using our time and our resources to help all of our teachers and support them in the work they do every single day. We have 2 task forces that we're about to start. One is for credit recovery. The other is for the school calendar. I am not, and I think everyone knows this. I'm looking to see are we using the best credit recovery system right now? We have something called Edgenuity, but there are a couple other options out there. And I want to make sure that when we invest in these dollars, because we know so many of our kids take advantage of credit recovery, that is the best program for them. I need a program that is multilingual. I need a program that's going to make sure kids can't cheat using AI. I want to make sure that it's easy for teachers to use. So Dr. Kermis is leading a group of teachers that have signed up to be on this task force, and they're going to be looking at newer or different options that are out there, or it could be that we just continue with Edgenuity. Either way, we just want to see what's out there, and we want to be able to bring to the board a recommendation for what we believe is best. We, meaning the administrators and teachers alike. The other task force is being led by Mr. Ashoff, and that is our school calendar committee. And for this year, what I asked him to do that's a little bit different is I'm interested to see if it's possible to create 2 calendars or 2 years worth of calendars. So have one for the 26-27 school year and also for the 27 and 28 school year, and put that out, because sometimes I realize parents, you're planning things, well into the future, especially if you're trying to travel. You want to know when school is starting, you want to know when the breaks are. And, this could mean a difference between, paying more for a flight or a hotel or whatever the case may be, right? So we're trying to get this information to you as soon as we possibly can, and then hoping that we can constantly, each year add 1 year to it. So I can't promise that we're going to do this, right? I can't promise you that we're going to try and see if we can bring you a calendar for 2 years forward facing rather than just 1. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be going into the middle schools to start signing up students after the holidays. I'm hopeful that we can get more students into our district. We are turning the corner. Things are getting better. Our schools are safe. Our teachers are amazing. Our scores are improving. There's so much good happening here in Proviso, but we need to win back the trust of all of our community and bring our kids back into our neighborhood schools. What I'm also seeing, we have such great things happening. We're, on the 20th, on Thursday, we're going to be at Proviso West hearing from the community about a $40 million sports complex that we're trying to build, right? That's, I think it's amazing, right? But also on top of that is all the data that I've been sharing about how great our teachers are and how wonderful our students are and how they're progressing. But none of that matters if the community doesn't believe that and doesn't see that. And so we're going to continue to try and invite our community into the schools so they can see just how great this district is. I am going to talk more about some of the things that we're doing. You guys, if you've been rolling with me on Mondays with Mohip, some of the things that I'm going to talk about tomorrow at the State of the District at 7 p.m., some of those things you've already heard. But what I want to do tomorrow, the purpose of the State of the District, is to give an understanding of where we were, how we're doing now in comparison, as reported by the state report card. But I really want to talk about the new things we're doing this year. And there's a lot of great things that we're doing. There's a lot of great things that will be done, and the outcomes that we expect to see by all of this work that is happening this school year. And so that's on the 18th at 7 p.m. we'll have that state of the district. And so just a few more things, and then I'll be done, and I can start taking some questions. A few other noteworthy events that are happening. On Wednesday at Proviso West, they're having a family game night. They had one last year. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't brave enough to karaoke, but there were some people that were. There were games. There was food. It was a lot of fun. And it was our first time. Nobody knew if parents were going to show up, if kids were going to show up. But, it was well attended, and those that were there had a ton of fun. So, if you're up for something a little bit different, stop down, right? Like you think like parent game nights and family nights, that's for like the elementaries, right? But I'm telling you, the students had so much fun. What also made it fun was it wasn't just families. Our staff came. Like, it was just a great community event. So I'm looking forward to that on the 19th at Proviso West. Also, just a few other things at Proviso East. Parents, if you had an athlete that played in the fall, know that the Proviso East Sports Banquet is on the 20th as well. I hope to be able to stop over at both of those events happening, or all the events that are happening. It's hard sometimes to get around to everything. And then finally, the last thing, Proviso West is having its fall play, The Ever After. I know Krista Gillespie is working hard, her and her crew and her team and her students, to put this play on. I'm excited to see The Ever After. It's going to be on 11/20 and 11/21. For more information, you can look on the calendar. You can look on the Proviso West website. But I know her quality of work. I think it's going to be an amazing event, an amazing play, and I know the students have worked really hard. And the last thing is, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope all of you have an opportunity to just rest and relax and spend time with family. I am going to do the same, so we are not going to have a Mondays with Mohip next Monday. We'll do it when we come back on December 1st. But now I'll pause and see. Christy is here with me to see if we have any questions that have come in.
Looks like we got one question asking to really look deeply into the school calendar when deciding those dates because homecoming conflicts with the end of first quarter. I guess that's more of a statement, so.
Well, we will definitely do that. And that's why, I don't know who asked the question, but we're bringing together teachers, admin, Alex is in charge of this, Mr. Ashoff, and he and I were speaking today, and, he's going to try and bring together a diverse group of individuals to give us feedback on this calendar.
There's one other question. Do you have college visits scheduled for PMSA?
I will have to check. Bernice, I see that question come in. I'll have to check with the principal to see if we have a schedule for that. And somebody will get back to you, Bernice, and we'll let you know once I have that info.
That, it looks like, was the only other question right now.
All right. Well, I hope all of you had a great Monday. I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great Thanksgiving and be well.